It's Friday, January 9th, and welcome to Chris's Corner. It's been a while since I've done a Chris's Corner. I got to admit, I've been slacking off, really should do a better job, and it's part of one of my New Year's resolutions, is to do a better job of bringing you a Chris's Corner more consistently. So hopefully, every other Friday, my smiling face will make its way into your home or laptop or wherever you're looking at me right now. Anyways, I wanted to talk this Friday about one of my absolute favorite issues to talk about, and that's NHL expansion. And the reason why it's one of my favorite issues to talk about is because few things get me as fired up / pissed off as talking about NHL expansion. Over the last couple of months, particularly in December, it looks more and more likely that the NHL is serious about putting an expansion team in Las Vegas. And look, I know a lot of people think that Vegas sounds like a fun and sexy destination for a new franchise. I know a lot of people, particularly players, would welcome the opportunity to go play in Vegas. I mean, hell, lots of stuff to do in Vegas. In fact, I'm sure some people, maybe Evander Kane, would demand a trade to Las Vegas. Things have gotten so far along the way in Las Vegas that they've actually identified a potential ownership group. Included in that are the Maloofs, who used to own the Sacramento Kings of the National Basketball Association. That didn't end so well for the Maloofs or the Kings, but apparently the Maloofs are the local Vegas face of this potential group, as well as a California billionaire who's really kind of the money behind the move here. And things have gotten so far along that the NHL has actually granted the ownership group in Las Vegas the opportunity to, or the go-ahead to sell possible season tickets, and they've even thrown around a name, the Las Vegas Knights. Apparently the billionaire, maybe owner of the Vegas franchise, is a graduate of West Point and thinks the Knights would be a great idea for a name. I don't really care whether you call them the Knights or the Deserts or the Cacti or the Dice or whatever. I'm here to tell you that any franchise in Las Vegas is an absolute terrible idea. First off, we ought to be talking about moving existing franchises, if not talking about contracting franchises. The fact is the NHL and particularly owners consistently talk about how much money the NHL is losing. And for a lot of these owners, they're not lying. They are losing money, and that's the problem. And if you look at Forbes' list of NHL team values, and I've got that pulled up behind me here on my other computer, you will see, not shockingly, that the bottom 5 teams on that list, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Carolina, Columbus, and Florida, all of these teams losing millions and millions of dollars, all of these teams worth pennies on the dollar compared to the big franchises. What do they all have in common? The thing they all have in common is they play in non-traditional hockey markets, particularly places where you don't even get ice in the winter. It is a quandary to me, beyond a quandary. I can't figure out for the life of me why Bettman and the other NHL owners would continue to double down on a strategy that has not worked. So put a team in Vegas, fine. So that way, for the next decade, we can talk about whether or not you're moving the Vegas team to Seattle or Quebec or hell, Saskatoon. And for that matter, if we are going to talk about expansion, like, as I said, we should be talking about moving teams, if not contracting teams, then we ought to be talking about putting teams in markets that have an established hockey fan base. The NHL simply cannot continue to pour millions and millions and millions of dollars into non-traditional markets, hoping that against all odds, suddenly they're going to create this whole new class of hockey fans in places where hockey shouldn't even be played. So that's my thoughts on expansion. I'm telling you right now, it's a bad idea, but unfortunately for us, the hockey fans, bad ideas are not something that this leadership and these owners are afraid of making over and over and over again. So the next time there's a lockout and they're talking about how little money that they're making and how much money they're losing, and they're talking about player salaries and all this, just remember that these group of folks are willing to continue to roll the dice on the future of the sport in places like Las Vegas. Once again, this is Chris Barron, Friday, January 9th, Chris's Corner.